Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Omari Bidesi. Thanks for clicking on this video. Thanks for joining in. Today I'm going to be sharing 10 tips of feeding baby solids. Yes, 10 tips. I could give you bonuses, if there's time for that, but I'm going to be focusing on these 10 tips. And I want you guys to know that these tips are gotten from my experience, from research, and I've used all these tips and I've seen results, like amazing results, positive results. And if you try these tips out, I can assure you that you're going to get results. It's not magic, it's something you have to continuously doing for you to get the results you want to get, whatever you want to achieve. So just leaving that out there, and let's get straight to it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, or the first tip I want to share with you guys, is do your research. You are starting solids with your baby for the first time. You need to do your research. You need to go to different platforms, whether social media platforms, whether search engines, whether any platform that you're used to. You need to go there and do your research on the types of food you're supposed to give your baby, research on what method of feeding you're supposed to use, research on every single thing that you can research on, so that you go prepared, at least halfway there, even if you're not 100% prepared, because you can't really be fully prepared if it's a first time territory and you don't have anyone to train you. So it's good to do some sort of research to know what you're delving into, if you get what I mean. So research is very, very important. You can go on Google, search for different things about starting solids. You can go on YouTube, just write starting solids, different things, what should I give my baby while starting solids. You can also check on Instagram, check different people, just use hashtags, and you should find reasonable results, reasonable platforms or pages that share every and anything about starting solids. So that's my number one tip. Now, my second tip is getting the necessary tools. Yes, it's very important. Now you're trying to start solids. It's not like the things you're going to use to feed your baby is different from what you've been using. If you're breastfeeding, you didn't used to use anything. All you just needed to do was eat and pop your breast out. And if you were either formula feeding or bottle feeding breast milk, you were using bottles. You're not using cups, you're not using spoons, you were not using all those things. You were mostly using bottles. Even if you were using cups and spoon initially, at that point in time, maybe from 3 to 4 to 6 months, you probably would have transitioned into using bottles. So you need to get the tools that are required, the tools that you need for feeding solids. Your plates, your spoons, your cups, straw cups, sippy cups, whatever tools that you need. Now you also need to do your research to get the right tools, and these tools come in various ways, in various shapes, in various forms, with different materials. Don't go beyond yourself. Get what you can afford, but try and get something that your child will need. Don't buy things your child will not need. Use that money to get what your child will need. If you want me to do a video on things that are necessary for you to feed your child, let me know in the comment section and I can do a separate video on that. But the major thing is just getting the necessary tools. Start small, and as you go on, you buy whatever you can afford. So depending on what you feel your child needs, you keep buying. Now the third one is about your baby. See, when you're feeding your baby, you need to understand your baby. Don't just see feeding your baby as, oh, my child must eat. No, see it as, my child is learning how to transition from taking just liquids to taking solids or semi-solids. You have to understand your child and know their cues. You have to also understand that your babies are humans like us and they have feelings. You need to know when your baby feels like eating and when your baby doesn't feel like eating. It's not easy, but you need to follow their cues. Watch them, observe them. If you understand your baby and you know that they have feelings, it will prevent you from, creating a negative feeding experience for them, such as, or doing something that causes negative feeding experience for them, such as force feeding. When you don't understand your baby, you think your baby doesn't want to eat, and you start shoving food or shoving spoon down their throats. Trust me, that's not going to help them in the future. So you need to understand your baby, please and please. Now, number 4, the fourth tip is don't get stuck on one method. Don't get stuck on one thing. No, don't get stuck on a particular thing. If you're trying to feed your baby, you have to be very flexible, because trust me, your child needs that flexibility. If you're too rigid, if you're taking this feeding things too seriously, your child will be so overwhelmed. So you need to try different methods. If you try different methods, if you're trying a particular method and your baby is not flowing with it anymore, either it was working and no longer working, or either it has never worked, try something else. For example, if you like putting your baby on the lap to feed your baby pureed fruits or pureed foods, and the baby used to cooperate before, and suddenly your baby is not allowing you, you have to understand why that is happening. Maybe your baby has started moving, maybe crawling, and wants to move around and play around. The best thing is for you to put your baby on a high chair, because your baby would have some level of freedom, have some level of control, even if you're spoon feeding the baby or whatever method of feeding. But if you can't afford a high chair, I would advise you probably get a mat somewhere clean where you place your baby. Yes, the baby will move around, but that freedom that baby has would make he or she want to eat that food. So that's the third method. Don't get stuck on one way. If that way is not working, if a particular meal is not working, or a particular method is not working, try another method and see how it goes. Yeah. The fifth tip I'm going to be sharing with you is, that's the importance of research. Do you know that there are 2 types of feeding a baby? Yes, there are 2 types. The first one is what everybody is used to, everybody knows, which is the traditional weaning method, or traditional weaning or feeding method. And the second one is what they call baby-led weaning. It's something that is just coming up, although it's been going on for years now in some countries, but it's just coming up in Africa, in Nigeria, and it has not spread wide. Like, very few people practice this method, the method called baby-led weaning. So you need to do your research and know the method that works for you and your baby. Emphasis on your baby. It's important that you do what works for your baby, but you also have to make sure it also has to work for you, so that both of you will have a very good experience. Just do your research on traditional weaning and baby-led weaning, and pick the one that works for you and just work with it. The next tip, the 6th tip I have for you, is you need to know that babies can literally eat whatever you eat. Yes, they can eat anything and everything you eat, as long as what you're eating is healthy. Yes, so they can eat anything and everything as well. You just need to know how to prepare these meals for it to be safe for them and packed with loads of nutrients. So say for example you eat rice and stew, you have to make your baby's rice and stew in such a way that the stew is not peppery, doesn't have salt, and is packed with nutritious meals, nutritious things like proteins, fats, healthy fats, things that they need. So you need to do more research on that. I'll keep laying emphasis on research in all my tips I'm giving you. So you have to just be open-minded. Don't be afraid. Whatever form you give your baby, whether you're practicing baby-led weaning or you're spoon feeding your baby's puree, you can prepare jollof rice, fried rice, any type of food, and puree it for your baby to eat. And trust me, they get to appreciate different flavors, different tastes, and they're eating exactly what you're eating, which makes it easy for you. Yeah. Now, to add to that, it's also very important to know the time to introduce some of this food. There's some foods that you introduce exactly 6 months, and there's some foods that you have to wait till 8 months, or probably 8-9 months or 7 months before you introduce. There are not much of those foods, but you need to do your research, your thorough research, and it's really not hard. There are lots of information out there for you to know. And the idea of giving your baby varieties of, or any meal or meals you're eating, is for them to get exposed to varieties of foods, they need to eat everything so that you don't have picky eaters in the long run. The 7th tip is, do you know that it takes up to about 20 trials before you can establish that your baby doesn't like a particular food? People will give their babies a particular food once, twice, and they're like, oh, my baby does not like this food, my baby doesn't like that food. No, don't be too quick to discard that delicious food or that delicious fruit you got for your baby. Don't be too quick to just assume your baby doesn't like a particular meal. Try it at different times, over and over and over and over and over again. Obviously, you're going to still mix it up with other meals that they've taken up or they've appreciated or they've accepted instantly, so they don't get too upset about you introducing this food back to back. So give it within a space of like 2 to 3 days. Try the meal again. After another time, try the meal again. After 20 times is when you can establish that my baby doesn't like this food. You never can tell. Maybe they will take it at that 20th time. So don't give up. My 8th tip is, it is very important to focus on nutrient dense meals. Do you know why? Babies have very tiny stomachs. Yes, their stomach is usually the size of their fist, very, very small. So just imagine you packing loads of, like, giving them loads of unhealthy meals that has nothing to do with what they need. Your babies need, or our babies need, nutrient dense foods that are rich in vitamins, iron is very important, vitamin D, vitamin C, proteins, healthy fats. And if you just give your baby meals that they don't need, you give them sugary foods, sugary drinks, or whatever it is that you might be thinking of giving them, their stomach should be filled up and they will not feel like eating the healthy meals you might end up giving them around another time. So it's very important to give them nutrient dense meals such that when they take in just a bite, just a spoon, they've taken up all the nutrients that they need, or majority of the nutrients that they need. So we need to take note of that, because as much as we're trying to introduce varieties of meals and we're trying to introduce them to meals and textures and flavors, the most important thing is making sure those meals we're introducing them to are very healthy for them. Now, the next tip I have for you is, you need to be patient. It's very important to exercise lots and lots of patience when feeding solids to your baby. Remember, feeding solids or taking in solids or semi-solids, it's a new territory. It's a new territory to your baby. They've been taking liquids for the first 6 months of their life. So it's like you're trying something new. Even as an adult, trying something new is something that takes time to adjust to. How much more babies that everything about them is still developing, it's still in the developing stage. So you need to not put pressure on yourself and, most importantly, your little one. Take it a step at a time and you will see that you'll start getting good results over time. My 10th tip is, do not give up. See, feeding solids is not easy. I know that, and I'm speaking from experience. But you have to focus on the goal, which is introducing your babies to varieties of healthy and nutritious meals. If you know that goal and you know that that's what you want to achieve for your baby, that's going to keep you going. That's going to keep you moving. That's going to keep you pushing on. So don't give up. Keep on that work, keep on the good work, keep on fighting, and eventually you're going to create a healthy daughter, a healthy son that loves eating almost everything. Now let me add extra tips for you. My first extra or bonus tip is for you to manage your expectations. Yes, manage your expectations. Don't project your expectation on your child. He or she did not send you a message. They don't really care about what they are eating. They don't even know anything about it yet. So manage your expectations. If your baby touches that meal, fine. If your baby finishes that meal, fine. But if they don't do either of those two things, it's also fine. Just take it easy on yourself and on your baby. And over time, you will start getting used to a pattern. You will start understanding your child and what they like. Trust me, they don't have to finish their food. Babies know when they are hungry. They know when they are filled up. And they stop exactly when they are filled up. Follow their cues and you'll be happier with that. My second bonus tip is, please do not focus on others. Don't compare your babies to others. Don't compare your others to your babies. Do not listen to everyone and anyone. Trust me, just focus on you and your baby. Do your best, your very best, and leave the rest to the Almighty. May the Almighty make it easy for every mother trying and thriving to give their children healthy meals. Fathers too, I know you are trying your best, but I know that most mothers are the one having headaches, stressing themselves out to give their babies nutritious meals. I hope you find these tips very helpful and useful. If you try these tips out, I'm very sure you're going to get a very good result. If you want me to do another video on baby-led weaning, which is what I ended up practicing with my baby, let me know in the comment section. If you don't let me know, I might still make the video, but I'm not sure if I'll be chance. So the ginger will come from you requesting for it in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video to this moment. If you know you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and do not forget to turn off the post notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos, you'll be the first person to get updated, alerted, know about it. Till next time, see you.